No?
There.
Perfect. Thank you. I'll get there. So, the time period we've been studying is from about 1490 to the 1800s. So that's Christopher Columbus all the way up through. Please don't do that. Thank you. So we've been studying from about the 1400s all the way to the 1800s. That's Christopher Columbus up through probably the Revolution. We haven't gone to the Civil War yet. We'll do that next time. The three main religions that were going on during this time were the Puritans, the Rationalists, and the Deists. And the Rationalists and the Deists weren't quite religions, but they still had a big influence on the people around that time period. So Puritans follow exactly what the Bible says. The Puritans believe that God told them how to live their lives, and they really try hard to do it. That's why you get Bradstreet and you get Edwards really focusing on not caring about what happens in this world, but caring about God. So the writers who are Puritans are Bradstreet, or Bradstreet did Upon the Burning of Our House, and Edwards. And Edwards is The Sinners in the Hands of an Angry God. Those are our two main Puritan writers in this time. Next you have the Deists. The Deists believed that the universe was orderly and good. They believed in order. For that one we have Sor Juana, Sister Juana. She was Catholic, but she was also a deist. She believed that the world was a good place and that if it just let us be, we'd be okay. Remember, she did World and Hounding Me. The last one is the Rationalists. The Rationalists believe that human beings can arrive at truth by using reason. So by thinking about things, we can discover how we're supposed to live our lives. And that's the way they lived their lives. And that was Franklin. Franklin was the one who wrote the little aphorisms you guys just did. And that was Equiano. And Equiano was the slave narrative. Alright, imagery, tone, and mood are all literary devices that I'm going to expect you to understand. Imagery is the use of language to invoke pictures. It's using words to make us think about images. You got a lot of that in Bradstreet's. You got a lot of that in Edwards, and His Sinners in the Hands of an Angry God. You have all those images of God holding us up over the flames and us hanging on the spider webs. And those are meant to kind of appeal to us and make us more afraid. And his imagery was what did that. His tone is the attitude a writer takes toward the subject of their work. So tone is how they feel about their theme. So you can't find out tone unless you know what the theme is also. So always go for theme first and then go for tone. But tone is how they feel about what they're writing about. Don't get that confused with mood. Mood is the emotion created by the work. That's how it feels to us. So like in Sinners in the Hands of an Angry God, you have that tone of strict, really, really strict, and you get the mood of fear. You get these images that cause fear in you, and that's the difference between the mood and the tone. Infer is a new word for you, but I asked you about it on the test, and I want you guys to know what it is. To infer something means you come to a conclusion without any direct evidence. So like when your dad looks really angry, you infer he's mad. You don't have to ask him, hey dad, are you mad? You can infer that he's angry because of how he looks. You can infer a lot of things about what people believe by what they say, or what colors they wear, or the way they dress. You can infer things. You're not always necessarily correct, but that's what inferring is. Inferring is coming to a conclusion based on an assumption made of how it looks, how it sounds, or what you think. Not based on what someone says. That's like when you get followed around in stores in the mall because everyone thinks you're going to steal something because of the clothes you're wearing. And you're like,
Yeah.
did I just have a big sign on my head that says, I am a thief? No. But they've inferred that since you're young, you're going to steal from them. It's not always good, but it's an important one to know. Rhyme scheme is a pattern of rhymes. We talked about it a little bit with Bradstreet. She did rhyming couplets. That's a word you should know. Rhyming couplets. They're lines of two that rhyme together. The two poem types that we researched, this is on the back now. The two poem types that we looked at sonnets. Sonnet was Sor Juana, and it is a 14-line poem. It usually has a problem and then a solution. And then plain style, that was Bradstreet. That's a way of writing that stresses simplicity and clarity of expression. No big figurative languages, no big imagery, really just explaining things how they work. Alright, the theme. Now, theme is area in a book, or in a story, or in a poem. And you can find out the theme through 4 different things. You can find out through the feelings of the characters. You can find out through the thoughts and conversations. You can find out through what the characters learn, and you can find out through the actions and events. Now, the different stories that would go with each of these are kind of different. So for feelings, you would think Bradstreet. That's what the box underneath is supposed to be. So for the feelings, to find the theme, you would use Bradstreet's poem as an example. Right? We learned about her feelings. You know, sometimes I wonder about that drama class. You never really know. I always want to be like a fly on the wall. Yeah. You didn't make those noises in your class?
No.
No? You missed out. I swear all last year, all this experience. Alright, so for feelings, you'd probably think about Bradstreet. Remember Bradstreet? She's really depressed, and then she realizes that God loves her and she's okay. So her feelings show us how she thinks about God, and it shows us the theme. For thoughts and conversations, you're probably going to want to go for Edwards. Edwards talks a lot. We learn our theme through what he says to us. He tells us straight out, pay attention to God or go to hell. He says that to us, and that is the theme of his story. Through what the main characters learn, there's a couple of them. Bradstreet is a good one. She learns because her house burned down that it's okay because God still loves her and she's going to have heaven. Sorwana, in World and Pounding Me, she tells us that she's learned that beauty isn't all that important and that she has other things to look forward to. And then for action and events, those are usually longer ones. So you're going to talk about Equiano for that one. We learn about what he thinks about slavery through his own life events. If you study this, and if you pay attention, you should do fine on this test. You are allowed to use your notebook on all major exams. If it's not written in your notebook, however, you cannot use it. This is the only thing you're allowed to have out. So, I suggest you spend the weekend writing down important information in that notebook. You have no other homework. Tuesday we take a test and we start a new chapter. Are there any questions about what's going to be on the test? It's 50 points, or 50 questions, it's 100 points. It's multiple choice. It's long. It takes a lot of reading. If you get distracted, you're not going to do very well. Mostly you read, you answer questions about these things for that poem. You read again, you answer questions about these things for that poem. And it goes on.
How many questions?
50 questions. 100 points. Multiple choice. Didn't I just say this? I have it on record. I totally just said it. Alright, you can stop now.